All right. I'm just doing some tests. Nico, can you hear me? I think I'm muted. Nico, are you muted? I can't hear you. Oh, it's me here. I can't hear you. Ouch. I still can't hear. But you're not muted here. Let me check. Maybe it's on my side. It's not me.
Elvis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
All right.
I can hear you now.
So
Let
we
me
start very
start
shortly.
sharing.
Come in. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 8 of our GSA, which is the Graduate School Application Bootcamp. I mean, you've journeyed with us right from the first day through to the 8th day. We are very grateful, and it has been an insightful and educative sessions that we've had over the past 7 meetings that we've had here. Today is our final day, and today we are wrapping up everything. So once again, we have an amazing lineup of speakers who are going to share their years worth of experience and how they are navigating their graduate school journey with us. And today's special, as we all know, is a very today's topic, as we all know, is a very special one, which talks about finalizing everything, any final touch that we need to know, any kind of info that we need to know to wrap up our application before we finally hit submit. Okay, and we also ask our speakers and panelists to actually share their journey with us, meaning how they've been able to, should I say, cope with a foreign kind of world, right? A new city, a new country, a new school, new system, and everything. How were they able to cope with that? So today, that is what our questions are going to revolve around. As we all know, we beautifully tailor it to suit our speakers' background so that they can do justice to each of the questions that we ask them. So as tradition, we always take some opening prayer before we kickstart everything. So Mr. Elvis, please, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and start the opening prayer for us.
Thank you, Nicholas. In the name of the Father and of the Son. Heavenly Father, we
Hello,
thank you
Elvis.
so much for today. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the life of our family and friends. We thank you especially today for the life of our mothers as we celebrate them, for all their tireless efforts and all their dedication to making us great people. Hello, Nicholas, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
I think my next.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. Please, you could start for us.
All right. So in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the life of our family and friends. And more especially today, we thank you for the gift of our mothers, for all the great things they've done for us and for all their tireless efforts they've made to make us who we are today. We say we are forever grateful. Coming for a throne of grace, we want to acknowledge the fact that we are sinners and ask that you, Lord, will have mercy upon us. As we begin today's session, as we begin to climax this 8 weeks journey, we ask that you set forth your Holy Spirit to strengthen and guide us.
All right. Amen. Thank you very much, Elvis. I think his line went down for a second. And as I said earlier, today is quite a special day when it comes to our 8-week graduate school application bootcamp. We started with the first week's topic, which we aimed at talking about intro to grad school, knowing much more about the kind of programs that are best for us, searching for schools, and then also preparing for the graduate school application. Then in week 2, we talked about understanding the graduate school admission requirements. So we also touched on things like typical admission requirements for international students, and also things like the exams, application fee waivers that exist, and the English proficiency requirements and all. Then we went on to week 3. You talked about something very unique and something that is very important when it comes to graduate school application. What is it? Is the SOP and the personal statement, right? So we talked about the statement of purpose and then how to actually craft a strong personal statement. And it was actually a very nice session. Then week 4, we finally went into crafting a strong application for graduate school, a peek into how extracurriculars and other work experience make it stand out. And surprisingly, we have one of our speakers who was part of that panelist also here with us today to actually also join us. Then week 5, we talked about letters of recommendation, code emails. We also have another speaker from that session with us today, which I'm very proud of and glad. Then the week 6, we talked about financial considerations and then scholarships that exist to actually ease students of the stress of academic fees burdens and all. Then week 7, which was last week, we talked about visa and immigration processes. Then today we are here to crown it up with finalizing the application and the next step. So today we're going to talk about finalizing application, the checklist, the timelines, the importance of follow-ups, and maintaining communication with schools, and a whole lot of things that we're going to talk about today because it's the final day. And before we continue, I would like to introduce our speakers to us, read their nice profiles, and we get to know our panelists that we have here today. So I'll go with our first panelist. Whoa. Give me a sec. Our first panelist today is an accomplished legal professional with a unique academic and professional journey that bridges philosophy, law, finance, and technology. He holds an LLM in international banking and financial technology law from the University of Bradford and a qualifying law degree from the Ghana School of Law. He also holds earlier degrees in law, LLB from GIMPA, and in philosophy and theater art from the University of Ghana. Currently a senior associate at ECAM Law Consults. He specializes in regulatory compliance, financial transactions, project finance, and civil litigations. He plays a key role in advising on complex legal structures, including law agreements, inter-creditor arrangements, and power purchase deals. His work spans across hybrid legal environments, giving him a strong grasp of both local and international legal frameworks. Beyond his legal practice, he actively contributes to thought leadership in technology and law, having served as a researcher for the Tech Law Forum and a member of the Law Students Society. His interdisciplinary background equips him with a sharp and analytical skill, critical thinking, and a holistic approach to problem solving, qualities that he encourages prospective graduate students to cultivate. His story offers a compelling blueprint of how diverse academic foundations can lead to impactful careers in law, technology, and sustainable finance. At this event, he will be sharing his insights on leveraging graduate education to build a global legal career. Please help me welcome Nana Oware, who's a lawyer, a fintech law and practice. He's also into data and cyber regulations, also into international banking regulation enthusiasts. Hello, Nana, please, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation and I'm excited to contribute to this discussion. Welcome everyone and let's have an amazing moment. Thank you once again. I appreciate this show.
We are grateful, sir. Thank you very much too. All right, then we go on to our second panelist over here, who is also from the same school, University of Bradford. And last week I introduced her as my personal coach, and today I'm very glad to introduce her again. She's a passionate and driven finance professional currently pursuing MSc in Financial and Investment at the University of Bradford, UK. With a keen interest in financial markets, investment strategies, and sustainable economic growth. She brings both academic insight and practical experience to the table of discussion today, making her a standout voice in conversations around international education and career development in finance. Her journey began at the University of Ghana Business School, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Banking and Finance. During her time there, she developed a strong foundation in corporate finance, financial reporting, and banking operations, skills that have been instrumental in shaping her early career. Professionally, she worked as a domestic operation NSP at Ghana Export Imports Bank. Her role involved supporting the trade finance initiatives, managing transactions, and assisting with operational support Ghanaian exporters and investors. This experience not only deepened her understanding of financial systems in emerging market, but also strengthened her problem-solving and analytical problems abilities in real-world context. Now studying in the UK, she's a vocal advocate for global education and women's empowerment in finance. She actively engages in discussions on navigating graduate school applications, scholarship opportunities, and transitioning from local to international academic environments. Her story is one of perseverance, strategic planning, and a deep belief in the power of education as a tool for economic transformation. She's also a proud PAX UG alumnus, and during her day, she was what we call Mama Lectures, which is the president of the Lectures Ministry. Please help me welcome once again Miss Georgina Obeng, today joining us on the call. Hello, Miss Georgina.
Hi.
Thank you, and glad to have you here today.
You're welcome. I'm happy to contribute whatever I can to the talk. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'll introduce my last panelist, then we kickstart the session. He's also, I think this is third time on the call, and we are very grateful for your continual support. And he's a Ghanaian-born material scientist and emerging leader in quantum nanomaterial and biomedical imaging. He had his undergrad education in physics at UDS and went on to further his education with a first master's at the African University of Science and Technology, Abuja in Nigeria, and a second master's at the Rochester University, both in material science. He's currently a PhD candidate in chemical engineering at Northeastern University. His research focuses on semiconductor nanocrystals, specifically PBS, and quantum dot for application in fluorescence, bioimaging, and brain drain, and blood-brain, barrier studies. At the Dennis Lab, he designs and synthesizes quantum dot systems that enhance the visualization of anatomical features in preclinical models. His work has been showcased at the Northeastern University College of Engineering Research Expo, where he presented advancements in nanomaterial design for biomedical applications. Beyond his academic pursuit, he's passionate about science, communications, and mentorship. He actively engages with scientific community through platforms like ResearchGate and LinkedIn, sharing insight on quantum material and their potential in healthcare. His publication of the electronic structure of copper fuel cyanates as a whole transport material in organic photovoltaic has garnered attention in the field. His interdisciplinary approach bridges material science, optics, and biomedical engineering, positioning him as a thought leader in the development of nanomaterial for medical diagnostic and therapy. His commitment to innovations and education makes him a valuable contributor to discussions on the future of science and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, help me once again to welcome Mr. Thomas Chetu. Hello, Mr. Thomas. Please welcome back. Hello. Okay. It seems Mr. Thomas is having difficulty trying to join us. So we kickstart the session as I already introduced. Today we are going to talk about finalizing application and next step. My name is Jima Nicholas, the final year student of the University of Ghana, reading Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Statistics, and also I'm a youth career advocate using platforms like LinkedIn to help students find their footings and grab opportunity and make use of them. And I'm also very glad today to be your moderator once again to finalize our discussions on this important subject matter. So as we always do, we first of all ask an icebreaker to kickstart the session. And today we are asking our panelists, right? So I'll be asking each of our panelists, what was your main character moment in grad school so far? Or what has been your main character moment in grad school so far? So main character, it could be that one time that you thought, yes, finally living the international student life. It could be maybe a time you were walking to class in the snow, or a time where you were quote unquote maybe forced, or you had to eat cereal for dinner. Maybe a time where you got lost on campus or calling home because your heater wasn't working, anything like that. So I'll start with Miss Georgina to tell us what has been her main character moment in grad school so far. Hello, Miss Georgina. Could you brief us on that?
Okay. Hi. So I would say for me, it has to do with the food. So I have been to a couple of restaurants, and although at the beginning I didn't really enjoy it, I think now I'm beginning to get into it. So I'd say that is what has really like made me feel like I'm now living the life here. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, sure. So we move on to Mr. Oware, Mr. Nana. Oware, oh, Nana Oware. Sorry. Hello, Nana.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, sure. So I want to know what has been your main character moment so far. It could be any time where maybe you were working in a class, you were working to class in snow, or maybe you got lost on campus trying to call back home because of some issues or something. Anything that has really made you feel like, yes, I'm now living the international student life.
Oh no, I think the very first one was when I was seated in front of the lecture hall, and then the lecturer, who happens to be the dean of the law school, inquired my name, and I said my name is Nana and what it meant. And ever since, he always used my name to make examples in class, and eventually I became popular. Everybody calls
Wow.
Nana, 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 and some of these foreign students start saying, hey, "Do I know Rihanna's song? Oh Nana, what's my name?" And these people are okay. Everybody just says Nana, Nana, Nana all over the place. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I mean, it helped me try and make new friends, because then when I'm walking around, people just want to mention my name, Nana, Nana, Nana. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, and then the Indians will come over and say, well, Nana in their language, Hindi means grandma. And I said, well, it means the same thing in my language, but it means a lot more. It can mean grandma, grandpa, chief, and a whole lot of things. So it was quite interesting, and yeah, that has been one of my main characters. The other one was just taking train rides around. It's just fascinating. You can just move from one city to other, in just moderate speed trains, and just pay a token, and it just helps you get around quite easily, especially here in the UK, right? And yeah, it's such a wonderful experience anyway. Thank you.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Thank you very much. I think we have a celebrity in our midst. All right. So we move on to Mr. Thomas to also share his experience with us. Hello, Mr. Thomas. Okay. Always kindly check up on Mr. Thomas for us, okay? We kickstart the session. All right. Okay, so then now that we've cleared the way with the icebreaker, we've gotten to know Nana and Miss Georgina, the journey and everything. So we move on to the questions. So my questions are going to be tailored to your background, and there are some of them that are general. Okay, so these questions is actually for all of our panelists, right? So looking back at your own application journey, right? What has been one thing that you wish someone had told you when you were finalizing your application? And also, how did you actually navigate that final stretch before hitting submit? So I want to know that how, if you are where you are now, if you are to look back to your own application journey, right? What is one thing you wish that someone had told you when you were finalizing your application? So, Ms. Georgina, please, could you help us with that? Anything that where you are now, looking back maybe 1 year ago, you wish that, okay, I wish someone had told me this before I finally hit on the submit button to Bradford or any other school that you applied for?
Okay. So for me, I think it will be one thing would be the academic system and how studies are done here. So I thought that it was so different from back home because of how it was marketed to me at the time. But then I came here and I realized that it's similar. It's not so different. Like we have the lecturer, you have your exams, tests, the same thing. It's not anything like out of the ordinary. So yeah, and the second thing would be navigating the navigating the job system here, applying for jobs and stuff like that. I also thought it was quite different from back home, but then it's not so much. It's just that over here, more attention is given to your qualifications and your experience as compared to back home. Because back home, as we all do, sometimes if you have good connections, you can make it to certain places. But here, it's not like that. Although connection works here as well, it's not on that level. Like the person has to vet you and see that you can actually do the job before they'll recommend you or give it to you. So yeah, these are the two things that I wish I had known before coming. And yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And Nana, please, could you also tell us if, from where you are right now, looking back, what is that one thing that you wish that maybe someone had briefed you on before you finally hit that submit button?
Well, I think the main thing is getting integrated into a new community. All right. No matter how much a person describes it to you, it becomes abstract. You try and imagine how it is, but living the experience is completely different. It's completely different. I mean, you face your own reality checks here and there. So if I'd concluded my application and I was just about hitting submit, the ultimate question would be, okay, what is it like living in, let's say, Bradford? What is it like living in Birmingham or Warwick or Manchester? Of course, you're going to hear all those fanciful things. Oh, it's a lovely place, it's this and that and all that, which makes you eager to try and get there. But then when you arrive, there's a I think there's a long period of disconnect because you are wondering what is happening here. Class back to lectures, class back to lectures. You want to work, you want to hang out, you can't. So that brief transition period is it's a bit it's a bit personalized for everyone, no matter how well anyone describes it for you. It's just you just need to prep your mind and tell yourself, no matter what, I'll just go through it. Now, once you're done with the transition and you understand the system, yeah, you can just use it to your advantage. So you just have to be cautious and not be overly overly excited when you arrive because a lot of things can go south, which of course I'm sure this particular session will delve into all those things. But just to conclude, no matter what anyone tells you, just take it with caution.
Okay. 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 Thank you very much. And I think a little follow up on that. And with regards to the day-to-day activities over there, and we often actually focus on the academic aspects of the graduate school, right? But what actually surprised us is about the day-to-day realities of living abroad during your first month. So we want to know what really surprised you, right, about your day-to-day realities of living abroad during your first month, and how were you able to adjust to it? So when you went to Bradford for the first time, or maybe within your first month, living in a new country, a new city, a whole new quote unquote world, right? How were you able to adjust? Were there times that you missed home? You're like, okay, well, I think
Yeah,
maybe okay.
I get it. Well, my first cultural shock was basically learning that or understanding that my neighbors are not necessarily my friends. I mean, in my block, I could go months and not even know where they are or who they are. Right? You're just there in your room, quiet. You just have to figure out how to get how to get around town. Now, one important thing is when you arrive, you need to get in touch and find out if there are Ghanaian societies on campus so that you register with them, right, and attend meetings. So you need to integrate by using what I call the familiarity route. So of course, it's easier to get along with Ghanaian communities before you start moving to the Nigerians and maybe the other African countries and maybe the British because their way of doing things are completely different, right? When you immediately I arrived, of course, I had to find out if the Ghanaian societies, and yes, I was told there was one. I met the leadership, we registered and all that. We started receiving notifications for meetings. So that is when you start, feeling at home, quote unquote, because yeah, you can speak Chi, you can vibe, but it's just for a brief moment. Yeah, well, it's just for a brief moment, and then you go back. But it's refreshing because if you're in your room, for postgraduate studies, you don't attend classes every day like undergrad. Even undergrad, I'm not sure any
Yes, every day.
Monday to Friday, yeah, but maximum two to three times a week. The rest is what you do with that time. Do you look for work? Do you try and build network? Do you go to the gym? How do you do all this? But like I said, the starting point is always the Ghanaian society. There are students who are already there who have seen it all. So you start engaging them, trying to learn from them. Okay, how did they navigate this thing? Yeah, then they'll start connecting you. Okay, if you want a job, this is how to draft your CV. If you want to go to this side of town, this is how to go about it. Avoid this area, avoid that area, avoid these people. Yeah, and then they start, warming you up. But if you do not do these things, trust me, you cannot survive. You won't survive. By the time you realize there are so many things in the system or there are so many options that you could have hacked to your advantage, then time would have been fast
Okay.
spent. Yeah, so you'd have to use um the people that you are familiar with, that's the Ghanaian community, and just express yourself. And I'm sure
Okay.
you'll just find your way around. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. I mean, for telling us that getting the communities is very, very, very important because it's just like I remember my undergrad days in UG. There were times that if you do not check your WhatsApp page, you realize that they've gone for a class and you weren't even aware of that. So having that kind of connection and network with people over there is very, very important. Thank you very much for highlighting that for us. So, Miss Georgina, we also want to know your path. I think earlier you were talking about eating a restaurant meal or something, or I wanted a local Ghanaian dish or something. Can you also tell us how you were able to adjust within your first 2 months in Bradford?
Okay. So when I first came, the first friend that I made was an Indian, and we were both fresh students to the university from a different country, and we were able to bond over that. And during the first 2 months, we explored the city together. We figured out the transport system and we tried out different restaurants, we went for different events. So I think that really helped me in integrating into the city. In addition, like what Nana was saying, regarding the Ghanaian community. So I found out about the Ghanaian community of Bradford before coming because I did research on that and I saw that they had a vibrant community on Instagram. I saw it through Instagram. So I reached out to the leadership before even coming. So when I came, meeting them and interacting with them was so smooth and easy. They were very nice and welcoming, and I enjoyed it. And we had a few meetings where there was there were other Ghanaian students there, so I was able to meet them, and it was cool. Regarding the food, one advice that I'll say now is that please learn how to cook before coming. If you don't know already, like learn how to cook so that you wouldn't find yourself wanting when you come here. Because when you come here, finding local dishes is quite difficult. It's not easy to find. And even when you do, it's expensive. I don't understand why they make it so expensive, but it's not cheap. So in order to save money, it will be more advisable to cook than to be going out every day, like to buy food. Yeah, and one cultural shock that I had has to do with the transportation system. So in Ghana we have our church and taxis and Uber and all that. So regarding transportation, at whatever time that you need public transport is available for you. But here with the busing system, it doesn't work like that. It comes at certain times, like there are certain intervals. So if you don't go at that particular time and the bus leaves you, then you have to wait till it comes again. And sometimes it can be like an hour later or 30 minutes later, which might make you late for wherever you are going to. So that really, like, I don't know if I should say it put like a reset on my system, because it meant I had to start doing my things like faster, being early to like to make sure that I'm able to be there on time and all that. Because I remember one time I was going, I think I was going for a job interview, and I had to pick a bus about 10 minutes from where my accommodation is. And I thought, oh, as for 10 minutes, yeah, I can walk there and get on the bus, no problem. So not knowing the bus came earlier than the time. And I got there exactly when the bus was there, like onboarding. It was parked there. I could see it too. So I started running like towards it. The bus driver saw me. He closed the door and he left.
Sorry about
Hmm.
that.
It wasn't. It was like I almost cried that day, because like I couldn't be late for the interview, so I had to order a ride, an Uber, and I was able to make it on time. But that one too comes at an extra cost, because Uber isn't cheap. So, but then yeah. So from that experience and other ones that I've had, I was able to sort of restructure my things and ensure that I'm able to do things on time and not delay. Because this one, if it was Ghana, like the trotro cars, there will be many there. You can go and board whichever and go. But here, it's not like that. So, yeah, that's what I'll say for now. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you also.
I wanted to chip in. I wanted
All
to
right, sure.
amplify the point regarding cooking. You
Okay.
need to have these skills. Just learn how to cook, because most of the food here are GMOs. I remember I bought a bunch of plantain, and for like weeks this thing will just not ripen. I'm like, now we brought there Benny, because I wanted to fry ripe plantains, cocoa. And this thing was always fresh. I'm like, these people, what did I just buy? Because I was expecting after some few days, you know how plantain gets ripe.
Exactly.
Yeah, after weeks, this thing was still green. And then I go back to the grocery store and they say, oh, no, 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 this type is this, is that, and all that. I'm like, oh, really? Well, if you go to the African market or the African stores, it's expensive because, of course, they need to import it, and there are lots of regulatory protocols. This adds on to the cost. All right. And that is the more reason why most Ghanaians overseas always um, would want to get food stuff across the ocean. Whenever they know someone is coming, the first thing they really want is food
Okay.
from fresh foods. It's really really important, to learn how to cook basic. The guys, please, let's learn how to cook basic things. Gravy. Learn how to make soup. Learn how to make soup, gravy, and stop these noodles. And just learn how to make these things on your own. You might think, well, there are Ghanaian girls around, right? And maybe they might help you to cook, but they also have their own commitments. They need to study, they might go to work, and you can't be a burden on them. So you need to learn these things, right? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for spotlighting that for us. Please learn how to cook before you start your application. That is very important skill. Okay, so I want us to go deeper into the aspect of the finances, right? So Mr. Jenna was sharing with us how you missed the bus and had to order a ride, which came at an extra cost, and also going to the mart to buy all these stuff, which are quite expensive, right? So I want to know, many students actually worry about the financial management when they are studying at graduate school, right? could you share maybe a practical budgeting advice or financial resource that maybe you discovered that is helping you to go about navigating the cost of living in Bradford? Ms. Georgina, please could you help us? After that, I'll move to Nana to also give his thoughts on this.
Okay, that's fine. So for me personally, when it comes to budgeting, especially as a student, it's nothing so complicated because you are not really working. So it's just the little income that you are getting either from your parents or from the scholarship award that you have or wherever, if you are working to, the income you are getting from there, and then your expenses. So what I would suggest is that your expenses, you categorize them, like you put them down, whether in an Excel sheet or in a document format, you put it down. So you think of your rent, after your rent, your food, then your transportation. Those are the key ones that you have to always make sure you have. Because if you don't have rent money and it's time to pay and you end up not paying, they'll eject you, which is something you don't want, right? So your rent money you should always have. In addition to the rent money, you should have money for food, then you should have money for transport. After these three key things, then anything extra, maybe for some small chilling or whatever else it will be, then you add to it. So you put that down, then you put down your income as well, how the amount you are getting from wherever. Then after you have all these sorted out, I think you should not struggle so much on a monthly basis. Just make sure you try and stick to it, because sometimes you might have the temptation to go out of your budget, because maybe someone might surprise you with some 200 pounds 1 month or something, but then it's not advisable, because again, you are a student and you are not making so much. So it's also help if you get into the habit of saving as well, so that after the expenses you've paid whatever bills that you have to pay, then your savings, you have some small money there in case of a rainy day. Then after that, after you have your savings, then whatever is left, you can spend it on yourself. Maybe you take yourself out or you go on a trip or whatever. And also in addition to this, there are these coupon deals for students that are here. Most of the restaurants have it, and some events as well. You might attend an event and they'll say that because you're a student, here's a discount for you or this and that. So it's good to look out for those deals, or even online on some websites, they have that as well, whether for watching movies, music. So it's good to check them out so that you'll be able to save money where you can. Yeah, then after studying, when you're able to secure like a very good job, then you can be more flexible and expand your budget. But then as a student, it's more advisable to stick within a range. So if every month, let's say your bills add up to 600 pounds, then anything extra, you can give a rough estimate of 100 or 200 pounds. Once you have that amount there, then you know that okay, every month I have to have this amount with me. Then when you get into the habit, it will become way easier. So that's the
Okay.
advice that I'll give. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all that. Nana, could you also add your view on that? How maybe you are managing your budget, and any financial advice that you would like to give?
Well, thank you. This is one thorny issue because back home in Ghana, if you're having financial difficulties, there's this sense of, oh, I can get my way around it, because I mean, you can speak to a few people who would be able to pull some resources for you, right? Because I mean, it's Ghana, as we say, Finifi. But here it's different. It's really, really different. You are in a community with students, not workers. One way or the other, everyone is having some financial challenge here and there. And trust me, you would encounter this is just a rite of passage for every international graduate student. Just know this and no peace. You are going to encounter that difficult financial moment here. It is not even I'm not even kidding, and it's not a prophecy, it's a rite of passage. It's going to test your resilience, even if you're a scholarship student. Because mind you, for those on fully funded scholarships, the funds are not released on time, be it the Commonwealth Scholarship or Chevening or whatever it is, or even Government of Ghana. Government of Ghana is even worse, right? It's not released on time. And maybe back home in Ghana, you might have not worked long enough to build enough financial buffers that you can touch when the going gets tough, right? So you are here, you are not working. Even if you are not even if you are working, your shift is inconsistent, and so you are not really racking up enough numbers to make enough money, and you are not getting any income. But you must pay your bills, your rent, as Georgina correctly stated, rent, food, transport. They are core. They are basic. You just need them. Remember, clothing, books, and all those other expenditure are there, but they are not necessarily essential. The essential one is rent, food, transport. You must always ensure you have enough funds to meet these things. But the difficulty is, how do you ensure you have these funds readily available when the time comes? If you are a funded student, right, just know the pattern of payments from your sponsor. Study the trend and just know that, look, these people are not going to pay for this period, right? So I need to find alternatives. The alternatives could be getting work. If you're not getting work, be realistic. Speak to people back home. Speak to friends for assistance, because that moment will come. It will definitely it's no, I'm not kidding you. If I mean, Georgina, you if you can even throw more light on that. How do you navigate this particular difficult phase where you are going through financial challenges? It's, as Christians, I mean, it's a matter of grace. It's a matter of grace that when you face these things, you don't really um, back down, because it's going to affect your academics if you don't manage it properly, right? Your landlord is on your neck. You are hungry. You can't even take a bus to go for an interview, but you must survive. But here are some few tips. The first one, if you're a sponsor student, learn the trend when your sponsor pays. If you're a self-funded student, make sure you have enough money before you arrive. And when you arrive, after checking in and sorting your accommodation out, hit the ground running and just start looking for work. Maybe we'll get to the CV bit later, but just start looking for work. And don't be too picky with the work that, oh, back in Ghana, I was doing a white collar job. So I'm looking for another white collar job in an air condition. I'm a trained barrister, right? I got enough job offers to become a paralegal. The only difference here is that they wanted full time, but because of visa restrictions, I'm unable to take these offers. I ended up working in a restaurant, which was paying good money. So I was quite fortunate. The next thing is, when you find when you're able to get a job, okay, when you're able to get a job, try and build what I call financial discipline. Know how much you earn, the average, and try and set some aside as your security money. Knowing very well that some funds may come from your sponsor or elsewhere, just try and secure some of these monies elsewhere. That aside, if you've not been able to secure work, if you've not been able to secure work, then it's even tougher, which means you'd have to cut down on certain habits that takes your money. If you need to go somewhere that is not really necessary, you just have to stay in your room, because once you step out, you're going to spend on transport. Unless it's a walking distance, then fine. If you indulge in lots of activities, you're going to go hungry and you have to eat. And once the food starts going down, you need to you need to top up, right? But most of the universities in the UK offer financial aid to students, and so you need to inquire from your respective institution what financial aids are available for students, so that when the very difficult moments arrive and you are out of options, you can go to them and solicit for some financial assistance to get you through. So, thank you.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for
and
sharing.
I want to chip in something little.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so um basically when you come here, how your life will be like is compared to living in a boarding house in Ghana.
Wow.
Because you don't have so much luxury, like of a lot of things. So you have to always make sure that you are managing what you have, especially because it's a new country. So just take it as you've moved to the boarding school in a different country. That's how it is. You will still have your gari, you will have your shito, you have rice. Okay, this time you can cook rice, yeah, and stuff like that. Like nothing so fancy, just so you can be saving whatever money that you manage to make or you bring, and you wouldn't be found wanting, because struggling financially here, it's not like in Ghana, like Nana was saying. In Ghana, even if your family won't help you, you have friends. You can go to someone easily and ask them, oh, can you lend me this much? Maybe I'll pay you later or something, and they'll help you. Even if it's not money and it's provisions, they'll give you. Over here, the life is totally different. The lifestyle is so different. Because even though we mentioned earlier about the Ghanaian community and all that, um it might not be so that they are so friendly and open to helping you. So that's another thing. And yeah, that's all I just wanted to add so that I take note of these things.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think I had a follow-up for Nana, right? With regards to the school's official, maybe the school that you are, their official kind of sponsorship, right? Is it something like a regular, or the application process is also very strict and you need to go through several protocols that
Is it concerning the financial aid?
Yes, yes.
Oh, no. It's I always say I always say the white man does not like to complicate things. It's just a straightforward application process. It's a form. The questions they ask are quite straightforward. I mean, the first, of course, they're going to ask your background, why you need the money, and if your landlord is on your neck, I mean, you can get a letter from your landlord and attach it as evidence of hardship, right? If most often you just need to demonstrate that you need the money, and within, I think, not more than 72 hours, your account will be credited.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the maximum bursary is for University of Bradford, if I'm not mistaken, I think is I think £1,000. Is it 500 to £1,000? I think so. Yeah, a month. And it doesn't go beyond a certain amount. I think every student may access the loan for up to around, is it £2,000 or £3,000. I'll need to check, but I think that's just about it. And then apart from that, if it's about food, there's they have this I've forgotten the name. It's like a charity. You can just walk in, pick your oil, gallons of oil, your bags of rice, and all that, and just go and cook for free.
Okay.
Yeah, provided you meet the threshold of being, yeah. If not, everyone will just go there and take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so find out from your respective school if they have these financial aids and how you access them. It's very important.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing this practical financial steps with us to help us when we get there. And as you said, it's the rite of passage that we all need to go through. And you've given us some content steps that we can actually take when we find ourselves in such a moment. So I want to also know if you could really share some moment when you experienced maybe an imposter syndrome during your graduate studies, maybe in a class, or it could be anywhere, right? And what kind of strategies that help you to overcome those feelings of self-doubt? Nana, could you start that with us, then I move on to Mr. Georgina afterwards? So a moment where you experience
Yeah.
an imposter syndrome.
Yes. I mean, so my course is it's a combination of banking, finance. Finance is a bit generic, and then technology. So in the class, those with hard technology background, yeah, they'll make you feel they'll make you feel like you absolutely know nothing, right? And
Yes,
it's quite competitive because you see they are coming from countries where I always say the Indians. You know how Indians are with tech.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like they play with it. It's for them. So most of these concepts in financial technology, they're able to demonstrate how simple it is, right? But for someone coming from Ghana, where the only fintech that we've exploited is mobile money, you are wondering, hey, Charlie, these people, Charlie, them go crowd, right? But you tell yourself, this is exactly why I'm here. Okay, this is this is where I'm supposed to be. This is why I'm paying good money to get the exposure, right? For to know how challenging it is to be able to rub shoulders with people from let's say your peers or your contemporaries from other backgrounds who you think are ahead of you. Because if you don't match up to them, then you are no good. But quite apart from that, these things are fleeting. Yes, in tech they are doing well, but in banking you also have your strength, right?
Okay,
You are also better in another field or in another aspect. So that is when you'd also show them levels. But
all right.
you don't have to let it bring you down at all. I think it has to be a form of reverse psychology where you say, well, if they are this good, then I can also be this good, provided I learn or study hard. I don't need
All right.
to pretend, oh, they are so good, so I'm folding my arms. No, just tell yourself, this is why I'm here. And I'm just going to I'm just going to overcome this by studying. It doesn't cost anything to approach them, to ask them in your spare time, can you walk me through these things? Or when you're free, can we set up a Zoom meeting so you break down this concept for me?
Okay.
It's better than pretending you also know, because trust me, it's just mobile money we've been doing in Ghana. Techniques. There are so many techniques with financial technology in these advanced countries that we have absolutely no idea of. I mean, Georgina will tell you. I don't remember the last time I handled cash over here. When we say cashless economy, we are talking everything is your mobile phone, right? You just tap and go. If anything you want to do, train everything is just your mobile phone. Once your mobile phone is missing, you are practically cut out of the system. So always acknowledge the challenge, but remember that you are paying money to surmount these types of challenges. So you don't have to let it weigh you down. You have to embrace it and overcome it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that and how you were able to deal with any imposter syndrome that came your way. Mr. Georgina, can you also walk us through a time where you felt that, or any general advice on how to deal with imposter syndrome when they arrive?
Okay. So, firstly, regarding the cashless system thing, yeah, it is mainly a cashless system here, but then there are some stores and restaurants that do accept cash, and when you go there with your card, you might find yourself wanting if you don't have cash. So you just have to find out before going there. But yeah, mainly it's just card. You go, you tap, and you go either with your credit card or your debit card or with your phone. And by phone, not every phone, no, only iPhones. If you have a Samsung or another type of Android phone, you might not be able to do that whole tapping thing. Yeah,
Hello
so
for Android users. Oh my
yes,
God.
so yes, me, I'm a living testimony of that. So please try and find an iPhone if you want to do that, or you can just use your card. It's not really a big deal. Then regarding the imposter syndrome, so when I first came here, okay, no, before even coming here, although I had the zeal and I wanted to come and study here and all that. Like in my mind, I was like, hey, so they've been saying in UK the educational system is top notch. How would I be able to keep up and blah blah blah? Like those things were in my mind before I came here. But then I got here, I met the people, my mates, my course mates, the lecturers. After the first few lectures, I realized that nah, I'm good. I can keep up. It's nothing so out of the ordinary. Because, like I was saying earlier, they have the same lectures we have in Ghana, the same exams. You go there with your calculator, your pen, pencil, ruler, whatever you need for that paper, and you go and write. And the knowledge that you are going to put on there, you have slides, you have textbooks and any other course material to study before going there. And also even though we are all coming from different countries, we are all similar in a way, because the same way you are struggling with a course, someone else is struggling with their own thing. So it's not so different. Yeah. And in addition to that, I decided to become a course rep when I first came, to sort of help me combat these things. And being the course rep so far, like people come to me with their issues for me to help them to address them. Grown ups, so older people, people that could be like can be my dad, my mom, they are coming to me for guidance just because I'm their course rep. And so, like, going through things like that helped me understand that we are all humans at the end of the day. Even though they might come from this country or that country, we are all here to study, to pass and get our certificates and go. Um, when I came, the graduation that I witnessed, I saw that there were Ghanaians who were winning awards, and that made me hopeful, and it calmed. It also helped calm those doubts, because I was like, hey, in a school with whites and all, like Ghanaians are able to top. Then as for this one, there, it's not any big deal like that here. But I think the area that imposter syndrome you might really suffer from might be with the career path, like finding a job, because when it comes to that, it's not so easy to find, even though the jobs are there and you'll be applying and applying, but then you also be getting rejected. And you might be thinking that, oh, is it because my CV is not good enough? Is it because I don't have the necessary skills and blah blah blah? So that might really impact your mental health, because you might be doing well academically with your grades being good, but then when it comes to the job aspect, the job side, it's not up to par. But the only thing I would say concerning that is just keep trying, keep praying, keep hoping, and something will come out of it. Because all you need is for one company to say yes, they'll take you, and that's all. So, like regarding all this, I'll just say keep praying and keep hoping and keep pushing. Just don't give up, because people have been through that and they succeeded. So why can't you also succeed? It's not like those other people have two brains or whatever. No, we all have one brain, we all have one mind, one body, and yeah. So just keep pushing and trying, and you'll make it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'll say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Keep trying, keep pushing, keep hoping. I mean, I think these three are going to be my mantra from now. Thank you very much. So, Nana, I think earlier you wanted to talk about the CV parts, right? Could you do it now? Any kind of, should I say, tip that we give when the imposter syndrome up, or maybe you've been searching for a side hustle and you want to get in it? How do you actually go about it? I know earlier you talked about we shouldn't say we want white collar job, right? We should settle for any good paying job. Could you tell us how maybe you navigated your own or any kind of advice on the career path? Because we know that that could be very, very stressing and daunting, right? I read a couple of LinkedIn posts about that, how especially I think the Indians, right, how they are surviving in Europe and all, when most of them share their experience quite bitter, honestly. Could you also share your view on that and how to actually go about that whole step?
Yes, that's very, very important. So the first thing you need to understand is that every country has a system or a template for CVs, right? Unknown to me when I arrived, I mean, I used my almost 6-page CV applying for jobs until we had our first career fair or job fair. Fortunately, University of Bradford periodically hosts job fairs where they invite companies to set up shop and try and entice students to come work with them, which is very, very important. Now, at this particular fair, there is also the Career and Employability Service. It's a department at the university that helps students fine tune their CVs. So on this occasion, when I attended the fair, I went straight to them that look, I've been applying for jobs, but I'm not getting it. Then they said, "Do you want to have a look at my CV?" Then they started laughing. They were like, "No, no, 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 no. We don't do this over here." Like now, my CV was 6 pages. They said no, the maximum
Oh.
is two pages. I mean, the maximum is 2 pages, and it must be extremely tailored in a sense that if you want to work in the hospitality industry as a student, right? Let's say these restaurants, McDonald's, KFC, and all that, you need to have a specific CV tailored for that. If you want to work in retail, say Nike, M&S, Next, all these big brands, as a salesperson, the CV should be different. If you want to work in social care or what we call care work or all these careers and all that, you need to have a different CV. There's not one CV for all. No. So they highlighted a lot of the irrelevant things in my CV, okay, and help fine tune this 6-page CV into 2 pages. Beyond that, I engaged them on how to do it for the other roles, and they walked me through what the employers actually look out for, right? And there are certain CVs. Immediately you bring your profile, your academic background matters. There are others, your most recent experience, work experience matters. And for others, immediately after your profile, what matters is your relevant skills, the technical ones before the soft ones, even before your previous employment. Because the moment the employer picks up your CV, he's just looking at what kind of skills do you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, fine. Let's shortlist him. And they feed most of these things. Um, they feed it into the AI systems to shortlist. They don't sort it out manually. So if you don't tailor your CV to suit what the employer is looking for, you can apply for 1,000 jobs, and unsurprisingly, you are going to be rejected 1,000 times. So when you arrive, again, I always say the school is there to help you. Just ask if they have the equivalent of career or employability service or whatever. Go to them and let them assist you in fine tuning your CV. So there's one CV for professional roles. If I'm applying for, a white collar job, let's say a risk or a compliance officer, I have a CV for that. If I'm applying for hospitality roles, working with any of these restaurants, I have a CV for that. I have a CV for retail. I have a CV for almost every aspect, right? That is number one. Remember, customize your CVs. But the question is, what if I don't have the previous employment and all that? Well, trust me, this fake it till you make it. Just tell them we're back in Ghana. You were working for even M&S Ghana or some shop be at the Accra mall. They are not going to call anybody to ask them. Package your CV. Fake it till you make it. Trust me, it works. It works. I've not even worked in any restaurant or whatever it is, but if you see my hospitality CV, you might think if I apply to Golden Tulip, Charlie, they'll give me some head of something, something, something. It's all packaging. It's all packaging. Trust me, if you really want to find work, let me be blunt, just lie on your CV. Because when they take you, they are going to train you. And that's even the shocking aspect. They're going to train you for every job offer that I've received. You would undergo a week or two training, and it's going to be paid for as part of your service conditions. They're going to pay you, they're going to pay you and train you at the same time. So just fake it till you make it. And then there are other CV hacks, right? So for instance, let's use Ghana as an example. If I'm applying for a job in Accra, and let's say the job is located in let's say Pram Pram, right? And I live somewhere like Wager, moving from Wager to Pram Pram is quite a distance, right? Or even let me say Ebri, because Ebri is a bit outskirts. Now, what the employers do is that they'll look at your residence, and although you are qualified, they'll go like, nah, this person won't be able to get to work on time. So just because of that, you're not going to get to work. I've received such rejections before until I found out that it was not because I was not qualified, but it was because of where I lived. So one hack is you look at where the job is located and you find, if you are fortunate, if you know somebody who lives there, you can inquire from the person or seek their permission to use their address as your place of residence so that the employer gets the impression that, oh, you live nearby. And so you can quickly come to work. And with these guys, time is money. They don't joke around with their time, right? It's very important for them. You can just change your address temporarily just for this job role. And then once you get in, you just have to make sure you get to work on time, right? These are some minor things that you need to change. Now, if you've been in the UK for at least 6 months and you're still sending CVs out, that does not reflect that you found any work for the past 6 months. It's also questionable. So you can just conjure up, just look for some companies online and say you work for them part-time. They are not going to check, because if they want a reference, they'll ask you to give reference. And you can just ask. What the Ghanaians do often is, a lot of people use me as a reference. They'll just say, oh, legal advisor, they used to work for me. They'll call, I'll do all the reference. They'll send the form to my email. I fill it out and then they get a job. Meanwhile, me myself, sometimes I also need a better job. But remember, I told you, fake it till you make it. Just package, find ideal or similar companies and just write you've worked for them before. If they need reference, get someone who would be your referee and you get the job. It is important that you get the job. How you get the job, make sure that you get the CV right. If you have to package your CV, make sure you package it properly, and it has to be very tailored. If you have to tweak your address, make sure it is tweaked. These are some minor hacks. And just forget that Ghana Ghana CV. Forget about it. Forget about your Ghana CV at all. You just need a whole new CV and you'll be fine.
All right, thank you very much, Nana, for walking us through how to actually land a job and the right CV hacks that we need to know. Tell us that the CV system is actually different because you can't use your Ghanaian CV over there. You need to tailor your CV to also suit your job role or description. That is one thing I also talk about often. Thank you very much. So yes, I know you've talked for long now, so let me move on to Georgina. After that, we come back to you. So, Miss Georgina, we know that some graduate school or maybe graduate school in general can be quite intense, right? Class, social, extracurricular activities, and all, but it still offers like a unique opportunity for growth and fun, right? Want to know what unexpected joys or cherished experience have you had that you encourage this prospective applicant to look forward to? I know earlier you were talking about during the first graduation you witnessed some Ghanaians were also bagging awards, right? So I want to know what unexpected cherish or joy, right, or experience would you encourage any prospective applicant to look out for?
Okay, so for me, I would say attending events and also exploring like different places, because before coming here I didn't know too much about the city, but then I got here and I realized that the city was quite small, that is Bradford city, and there aren't a lot of interesting places to like go to and explore. So what I did was that And this one, it might be a bit some way, but then I kind of targeted people who had cars because I don't have a car. And embarking on such trips too might be expensive. So I targeted people who had cars and I made sure to befriend them. So sometimes when I want to experience something a little different from where I am, I'll call someone and I'll ask, so what's your plan for the weekend? Or in the next 2 weeks, what will you be doing? Will you be going somewhere? Can I tag along? Can I tag along with you? Then I'll join them and go with them to whichever city they are going to. Even if I have no business being there, I'll just go along just to go and see and take in the view, take pictures and stuff like that. And yeah, those are the little things I've been enjoying. And so far, I've been to a few cities. I've been to Manchester, I've been to York, I've been to Leeds, Landing, and some other places. So yeah, that's what I've been the little part of this whole journey, this whole stressful journey that I enjoy. So yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Thanks for sharing that with us. And I think some time ago you went for conference in another city. I
Yeah,
saw that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Another thing too is that networking is very, very important over here, especially if you want to integrate into the corporate environment. Because here is not Ghana and things are a little different. In Ghana, because of how our schooling system and with NSS and all that, you get to meet so many people and make connections. But here it's not like that because you didn't grow up here, so you don't know a lot of people. So the only way you can get to know other people in the corporate space is through networking. And one platform I would recommend is LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, a lot of recruiters and companies post different events there. Some are free, so you can check them out. And when you see them and you see that, oh, it's near where I am, you buy your tickets, pick a bus and go attend and meet people and interact with them. It's really fun and it's a nice way of getting to understand how the people here are and how their minds work and what they do and all that here. So
Okay,
I
okay.
would
Thank you
recommend that
very
as
much.
well. Yeah,
All right,
you're
all right.
welcome.
So now, could you also share your view on that with regards to any kind of unexpected joy or cherished experience that you would encourage prospective applicants to look out for or look up to?
Oh well, you always have to start from within. There are so many societies on campus. There's the hiking club, there's a cinema or movie club, there's a sports club. There are so many societies on campus where you can start from if you don't have friends around, right? But I know as Ghanaians, we have a few friends in the UK that we can get in touch with to hang out. But you can always start from your campus. They're always posting activities of what they're going to do, their tours and all that. So beyond campus, there's an app, Eventbrite. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, there's an app known as Eventbrite. I use that often. You just try and download it and put in your city or cities you'd want to explore, and then they'll send you updates of various activities happening there. I'm an extrovert, right? So I like going out a lot, and
Okay.
I think I've been to almost every corner of
Wow,
this country.
that's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Portsmouth, Southampton, almost every corner, everywhere. Yeah, fortunately for me.
Oh,
And yeah, it's fun. I think it's partly family, partly friends, and some out of curiosity, right? So
okay.
Eventbrite, it's quite helpful to try and um, give you a perspective of specific activities that suit you. Remember, we all don't have the same interest
Exactly,
in social
exactly.
activities. So once you download the app, you can just tailor it. And somehow, some way, you might end up meeting friends randomly that you share lots of things in common. And when you meet these crazy people, yeah, you can hang out. Yeah, I found I've met a couple of friends that we hang out often, especially in Leeds, yeah, and all that. So, yeah, birds of a feather. You're
Come
gonna
together
work
all the
together.
time.
Yeah, so you
Okay,
know it. You know
thank you
when
very
you
much. So,
when you get into a community, you can just know that these are the kind of guys I'll vibe with. So you just know it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So a bit follow up on that, right? What about the security concerns, right? These people, yes, we are adults, but then these people are totally new people we are meeting, and often you hear cases of students being robbed or something, right? So traveling across these cities, has there been a moment where you felt like, well, this is quite unsafe for me, or has there been a moment where you worried about your safety, or maybe you thought you are afraid of being robbed or being scammed or something like that?
No, I think one, and I've always known like the place, London. London is one place to be quite security conscious because these guys on this electric scooters or bike can just snatch your phone and just go.
Okay,
And
okay.
so London is quite some way. It's fun, but it's some way. Well, anytime you're in a community, right? Anytime you're in a community, the easiest way to know about the security arrangement is to talk to the taxi drivers or the Uber drivers, engage them. They're just going to break the town for you. They'll tell you what this particular area, no go area, that particular area, no go area. I learned this. My dad was a policeman, so he gave me these tips that anytime you
Okay.
find yourself in a new place, just the taxi drivers, they know what's happening in town. They pick people all the time.
Exactly. They know everything.
People make phone calls in their cars. They drop people at all sorts of places. So they have a fair idea of. So you start engaging the Uber driver. You try and find out how long he has lived in the city, how he got to the city, and all that to try and map out his experience before you ask him. Okay, so what are some of the dangerous communities here? And they'll tell you, oh, no, this area, you don't go there, you don't go there at this time. Try and avoid these people. This sign means that, that sign means that. And then the bar, when you go to the bar, those of you who like to taste alternative water known as alcohol, I mean, you can engage the bartenders. They're gonna give you tips. And then the security guys at these various event centers, you talk to them, they'll help you, they'll assist you. But generally, you should also um, endeavor to be security conscious, your own personal security, how to keep your things, where to keep your money, emergency contacts, these basic things, you need to know them. What are the emergency contacts in the UK? Do you have your ID card on? Should the worst happen, how would they identify you? All these things you need to pay attention to your own personal security. And then if you have family around, talk to your family members, ask them, so what's the security arrangement like in this community or that community? They've lived here for long and they can share a lot of their
Yes.
experience with you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I want to do a follow up, but then I will come to you later. So, Miss Georgina, with the issue of family, right? We know graduate school can be very tough, stressing, maybe meeting deadlines, other social commitments, and a whole lot, right? So you kind of become busy, right? So I want to know, how are you able to maintain contact, or how are you able to maintain connection with the family here back in Ghana, despite the busyness and the whole grad school brouhaha? How are you able to manage these connections back home with the family in Ghana?
Okay, thank you. So I'm very close with my family, like we are really tight. And before even coming here, like we had certain communication styles put in place that like has kept the bond between us even when we are not near each other. So that continued when I came here. And one of them is with WhatsApp. So on WhatsApp, we have these family groups that we usually communicate with each other through. And in addition to that, personally, because of how my schedule is like, I always make a mental note to reach out to my family at least 4 times a week. So depending on when, and I always make sure to let them know, okay, I'll be calling you at this time. Would you be available? Stuff like that, like to sort of keep it consistent. Because sometimes if you leave these things to chance and just maybe whenever I'm free, before you realize it, you won't be free for like 3 weeks and you wouldn't have spoken to your family. Yeah. So that's what I do. Like and I text them or I call them to let them know that this and this and that. And it might not be for long. It might be just for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but at least it's something. So I do keep in touch with my family and we talk frequently. Yeah. Hello, Nicholas. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. It seems she's off. I can clearly hear you.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Nicholas quickly. I think it's network. So that
All right, let me continue. Just to add to how to get in touch with your family, you need to develop a dedicated time for your family, be your parents or your siblings. I mean, if you're on a siblings platform, you're always texting them and all that. But if you need to study, you can just cut them off and focus on your studies. I mean, particularly during exam period and all that. But as much as possible, let them know how you are feeling. Let them just hear from you. It's a bit challenging, but hearing from your parents or your siblings can be comforting. So it's really important that you have a dedicated time to speak to your people back home. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I think Nicholas is back now. Nicholas, are you speaking?
Can you hear me now? Hello, Elvis.
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I dropped off. I was speaking. No, I could hear you guys clearly, wasn't I? Thank you very much for sharing that, Nana and Miss Georgina. I just wanted to know, you see, with boys, I mean, we are always on the go, right? So how are you able to keep back, maintain that connection? And I really love the responses both our panelists gave, right? So Nana, I want us to talk about something, right? Your background actually spans philosophy, theater arts, law, fintech, and a whole lot more, right? How were you able to actually leverage this multiple backgrounds, right, in your graduate school application? And how has that actually also shaped your approach to navigating complex legal environments?
Wow, that's quite a profound question. But I think it's a break by break approach, right? So back in University of Ghana, I wanted to be a lawyer. However, during our time, law was not offered as a first degree. I think University of Ghana was experimenting with the American system where you need to obtain your first degree before you come back to University of Ghana School of Law. So unfortunately for me, I could not get into Legon to study law as a first degree because it was not even offered. Then the next option was to study for my first degree, but then it had to be something in connection with law, right? And I mean, the basis of law is philosophy. You just need to think. But I remember even before I started the University of Ghana, I had a chance to meet what's his name? Kweku Ansah Asari, the former director of the Ghana School of Law, at a function. And I engaged him and I told him that I wanted to become a lawyer and what does it take to be a good advocate. And he said advocacy is all about acting. He says it's all about acting. You should be a good speaker. You should see yourself on the stage and just act. I was like, really? I said, yeah, that's it. Then I told him the kind of courses I wanted to study. Of course, economics and all that. And he says, well, yeah, the economics and everything is fine, but the best combination was history and theater arts. It didn't make any sense to me back then, but on hindsight, I could understand him. Long story short, I mean, uh, I ended up with philosophy and theater arts, and then got to studied law. Now, I studied law as a means or as a springboard, right, to elevate me to other options, but not as a means to an end in itself, right? So becoming a lawyer was not the end for me. It was more like the key to getting access to so many other options. And once I started practicing, my natural inclinations and in-house training I got from my seniors was I was exposed to financial transactions, and that shaped my path. So imagine running away from numbers. University of Ghana economics department, you already know how it's difficult. In my time, I think after first year, they published a list of students who've made it to the next year. I don't know if they're still doing it. Are they still doing it? Is anyone studying economics back in University of Ghana? Yeah, it goes on and on till so you don't get to say, oh, I've qualified, I've not qualified. If you don't see your name on the notice board, my friend, you've not made it. So you only get that chance after level 200. Even if you've made it, you can now drop the course. So yeah, once I became a lawyer and exposed to financial transactions and all that, I realized that the world is becoming so advanced, and the way we do things back in Ghana, it's a bit slow. So I started researching and reading about the future of finance, and that was when I got this exposure to financial technology, fintech, or what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where artificial intelligence becomes the bedrock of almost everything we do, and it's also disrupting financial activities. So in order to capitalize on my experience as a lawyer in financial practice, I think fintech or studying something that is AI related was an option for me, and that helped me select my course. But because I wanted a combination of law and fintech, I shortlisted the schools in the UK and in the US that offers. And after getting various admissions, I chose Bradford because of their course content and because of one particular professor that I loved reading her articles. It was very captivating for me. Now I'm studying this course because it's a build up of my career back home in Ghana, except that this time it is an advanced version of banking, technology, and law, right? Which is consistent with what I do back home. But with this experience, I can have access to other international markets because of exposure. I can understand how the UK financial system is. I can also understand how the international financial system works. And most of all, I can understand how the African financial system works. So if you scale it back, you realize I said the law was just a springboard to give me access to other things. I could have just become comfortable in Ghana and said, well, I'm a barrister and solicitor. That's it. Whenever rain falls, I can control the rain, blah, 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 blah. But that would have been me being in my comfort zone. But having that mentality, knowing that, well, once you're a lawyer, it's actually a key for you to do a host of other things, right? I could have gone into aviation practice. I could have gone into health law. I could have gone into just exclusive tech law. I could have gone to so many fields. So it's very huge. But I was able to narrow it down to finance, and I'm now specializing in this area. So it has been quite challenging, but the plan has always been to do it step by step, step by step. Then you realize you've built a huge mansion worth of experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, can I be heard?
Hello? Yes, you can.
Yes.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. I think I was trying to pass a comment earlier, but then I wasn't. I realized that my network was playing stubborn on me. Yes, I'm also in the economics department right now, and they still do publish that list. they publish a list after every. I think level 100. Whether they are dropping you, so you don't get to choose to drop economics. They will drop you if you're not serious. So I really understand what Mr. Yeah, I really understand what Nana was sharing earlier. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that with us. How you were able to like to conjure all these different backgrounds to get where you are right now. Telling us the law was actually a springboard to like say teleport you to where you are right now. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So, Miss Georgina, I also have a question for you. Right, we know that you worked at Ghana Exports and Import Bank, Jexim Bank. I don't know if the acronym is right. and now you are doing your MSc in finance and investment at Bradford, right? What has been the most challenging parts, or should I say, what was the most challenging part going back to school? You know, you worked for 1 year. Most people, or some people, actually choose to continue, right? Job hunting or transitioning into full-time career. What was the challenging issue when you tried going back to school or transitioning from the professional work to back to school again? Were there any kind of issue, and how were you able to deal with them?
Okay, thank you for the question. So my first challenge was having to wake up in the morning and go to class again. I didn't enjoy that one bit because with working, you wake up, you get ready, you go to work, you do what you're supposed to do in the evening, you go home, and then you are paid at the end of the month. This time, you are waking up to go to a lecture, a 2 hour or 3 hour lecture. You're going to try to understand what the lecturer is saying, his accent, and all that. Then at the end of the month, you won't be paid. So that's another difference to the fact that this time I'm spending money and I'm not getting the money back. That's another thing. Yeah, but then as time went on, I got used to the system again because I graduated from my undergrad 2 years ago. So it wasn't so tough. It wasn't like it had been so long since I had been in school. So it was a bit easy for me to go back into that whole system of attending lectures, going to the library to study, and joining group studies and stuff like that. Yeah, it wasn't so difficult, but then I didn't enjoy waking up and going for lectures and trying not to miss it or trying not to be late and all that. Yeah, but God willing, right now I'm done with my semesters. I'm done with my courses, and yeah, I don't really miss I don't really miss it, but I'm happy I did it, and yeah, I'm
Okay.
proud of myself that I did. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. 7:30 class is somehow
Exactly.
stressing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the month, like I was saying, they won't pay you. You are rather going to write
Okay.
exams when the semester is over. Just imagine. But then if it was work, even though it gets stressful and you have to
Yes,
beat the morning traffic and blah blah blah, at least they'll
exactly.
pay you. They'll credit your account and you can go and
Exactly.
chill and de-stress.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I used to follow. I follow Georgina a lot on her status, and the time she was doing her NSS. I mean, she used to do trotro diaries. I don't know whether you remember. She would show
Mm.
us going to work and everything. At least those ones they were paying. But here's the case now: you go to 7:30 class, and at the end of the month, they are not crediting you or anything. I get it. I get it. Thank you very much for
You're
sharing that.
welcome.
So, Mr. Thomas just joined us. Mr. Thomas, please, you're welcome. Hello, Mr. Thomas.
Nicholas, one sec. He said he's seen that the meeting is ended. I don't know how, but I'm
Oh
talking to
no.
him.
Okay, you deal with this issue. We will get back to him. All right. So I come back to Nana again to also ask another thought-provoking question, right? We know that you've been working at the intersection of law and tech, right? What advice would you actually give to students about highlighting their unique perspective when applying to specialized program like your LLM in international banking and financial technology? What practical advice would you like to give them? We know that these fields are specialized fields, right? LLM in
No,
fintech.
can you take the question again? I think that the line was
All right,
distorting a bit. Can you take it again? Yeah.
all right, sure. So my question is that you have worked at the or currently working at the intersection of law and finance, law, so like law and fintech, right? And now, what advice would you like to give to a student about how to highlight their unique perspective, right? When they are applying for specialized programs like LLM in international banking and financial technology. So ideally, what kind of advice would you give to a student applying to a
Oh, okay.
specialized field like yours? Yes.
Oh, right. Oh, that's very good. The main thing is to have a clear idea of your career path, right? Um, I often like to compare law to medicine in terms of specialization, right? So, with the medical professionals, they have heart specialists, eye specialists, neurosurgeons, skin specialists, and all that. In the same vein, for lawyers, there are special areas. There's even in finance, there are lawyers that focuses just on insurance. There are others that focuses on banking. There are others that focuses on pension and regulation. It's huge. It's a huge industry. There are others that are into aviation. There are others that are into international criminal law. That's these war crimes and all that. There are others that are into international diplomacy. They work in UN. Have a clear idea of what you want to do. I I say if you've completed your first degree and you have no idea what you want to become in life, then you might as well just go back and do your degree again. Have a clear plan in your head. It might not always work out because as you age or as you grow, you begin to explore some aspects of yourself. And another thing is that maybe fate and chance might open some doors for you that you never knew. But you don't have to leave that to chance. Tell yourself this is the future you envision for yourself. Read about people who have been there, the kind of courses they studied, the kind of schools they attended. Try and mimic your career in that manner. If you want to specialize, it should be out of passion, not out of obligation, because you can't just specialize in a particular area that you have absolutely no interest in. It's gonna be very boring for you. But if you have passion for that, you're going to enjoy it. It's like they say, find a job you love and you never have to work. So if you are doing something every day, it's like a footballers. They have passion for playing and they are paying them to play. They are paying them to do something they like doing. In the same vein, discover your passion relative to your academic prowess or your career goals and try and fine tune the relevant subject or courses to it. So you can work it from the end to the beginning. You envision how your end should or how your career should look like. And then you try and work it back that okay, if I want this particular career or if I want this particular business, how do I go about it? In that manner, you work it back to selecting or settling on your specific course. So I for once, my focus is on the interaction with technology and finance and the role the law plays because there's always that intersection, but everything we do is regulated by law. Even this particular portal that we are accessing, before you download it and you access it, they give you this long list of something to read. None of you read it. You just click I agree, and then you just access the team software or almost any software application you download. But remember, it's regulated by law. None of you read any of those long, boring things. The moment you see I agree, I have read and I accept, that is it. But it's actually a contract. And that underpays every single thing that we do, right? And it's my passion because it's I just can't resist the urge to read any news item on finance and tech. I just can't resist. It's like that is what is drawing me. If I hear any transaction that somebody is there's a startup trying to do something, and where I quickly read about it, I'm just fascinated by those things. That's my natural inclination. Discover yours, and also try and tailor your future subjects in that manner. Don't do it because everyone is doing it. Oh, it's trendy. AI is trendy. You come and study. No, you might not have the passion for it. You might find it boring, right? But those of us who are fortunate to know specifically what we want to do, yeah, we find it fun. So remember, have the end goal in mind. People who have achieved it, read about them, how they did it, and try and tailor your subjects to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. And I mean, I'm actually loving today's session because everything we are getting is just a practical thing that you can actually, immerse yourself in, right? Thank you very much, Nana, for that also. Then I go back to, I think Mr. Thomas is not still with us. So when he comes in, then we go back to him. So I go back to Miss Georgina, right? You know that finance is kind of male dominated, right? So now going on the side of you being a woman, right? What challenges have you so far encountered, right? In your field, right? And what advice would you also give to a student or a female who also applying, and how they can go about dealing with all these pertinent issues that kind of worry females in such male-dominated space?
Okay. So for me, I think so far I've not faced any challenge with regards to my gender when it comes to the field of finance. And I don't know if it's because right after my NSS, I came here and I didn't stay in Ghana. So I can't speak for being in Ghana. But I would say that being here, it hasn't been a problem. The opportunities that the guys get, the male gender gets, is the same with the females. And sometimes if you are lucky, the company might even favor the females over the males when it comes to certain jobs. It will be stated there that you should be a woman, or they are accepting more applications from females than the males and stuff like that. So all I'll say is that don't get so worried, and don't let your gender impact your worth or how you view yourself for a particular role. Just try to focus on building your skills and improving yourself. However you do that, like work on that. Once you're able to do that, then you put in your applications for any job that you want. And if you don't get it, don't view it as, oh, it's because I'm a woman, that's why I didn't get it. No, just keep trying and putting in your best, and you will definitely get your opportunity, because there are other women that are making it, that have made it to like top positions in certain companies. So definitely you can also do the same. Another thing too that I would say is that sometimes when you are researching the companies, like before applying, you should also check the board management, like the board of directors, and see the ratio of males to females, because that might also tell you about what the company's view is on this whole gender issue. Because there are some companies that the board of directors, they are only males, you only see faces of men there, no woman. But then there are some that you see, oh, there are 4 women, 5, there are 3. So that will let you know. And also on LinkedIn, when you search up for the the employees of the particular company that you want to apply to, you see that people will pop up. You can look through the list and see the number of women that are there and that are working at that company. That will also help you. And in addition to that, too, when it comes to being African as well, you can also check, because there are some companies that have few Africans working there and some that have a lot. So if that's something that you feel affects your decision on where you would like to work, you can check that as well. The ratio of whites to blacks in the particular company, and see, maybe you don't feel so comfortable working in a white dominated company and you prefer being with other blacks, whether it's Africa or from other countries, no problem. You can check all that they like on the company's website or on LinkedIn, and once you see that, it will help make your decision. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And yes, we're also grateful for that, sharing that with us with regards to checking their company, their background, and their board of directors, whether it's male dominated and all. Thank you very much. So I go back to Nana for another clarification on the question, right? So Nana, we know that your career actually bridges local and international legal frameworks, right? Meaning the Ghanaian system and that of the foreign system. And earlier you were sharing with us how when you are in a class, the Indians, I mean, they are quite tech inclined, right? So they will be acing those ones. And when it comes to the law, you are also there, right? So we want to know, how did your Ghanaian education system prepare you, or not prepare you for the UK academic environment?
Well, thanks. The Ghanaian system really helped me because we read a lot, and in Ghana, you're made to read to understand, right? So when you're given a text to read back in Ghana, you can explain it very in detail. And when you transition to the side of the world, right, and you are presented with different or various sets of facts, right, that is when that particular skill sets in, because the lecturers are quite impressed when some of us are able to explain concepts. Of course, application or hono na kakra challenge kakra bi wo, because we do lots and lots of reading. But if you don't have the penchant for reading voluminous documents, right, back in Ghana in law school and at the faculty level and at the professional level, you can't really get it right at the postgraduate level, because the lecturers are not going to sit you down and teach you like you're in the faculty. They assume a lot of things, and they just give you a host of reading materials. And that is the advantage we have coming from Ghana, because we do lots and lots of reading. So you can digest various texts within some few days, and you can
Absolutely.
really understand it. You can really understand it properly. However, when it gets to, let's say,
Application.
how technology actually works, because you can only regulate something if you really understand the system. You can't just come up with regulations out of the blue. You need to understand the scientific breakdown of how technology works, and that is where we're a bit lacking, or I was a bit lacking. But like I said, I had to reach out to these guys to also give me their simple hacks in how they understand this whole technology thing, and it has been helpful. But know that when it comes to reading and reading to understand, that is our currency. That is my currency that I use, and I it has been very helpful to me, because if you are given the reading materials ahead of class and you meet the lecturer, you're able to engage him. The lecturer is impressed that yes, you've read and you're engaging, because they want you to challenge what you've read. And that's the whole point of postgraduate studies. Don't read and come and churn it out to them, but read and critique whatever documents or books or articles you've been given, and they are excited about it. Yes, so it gives you that advantage. It gives you that advantage. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that also. I mean, we are actually good with the chewing mentality, and we are able to absorb high contest within some few days. And I think that will be our comparative cost advantage over them also. Thank you very much. So I go to Ms. Georgina, then I go to Mr. Thomas. I let Mr. Thomas is back now, so we also go to him to ask of his view on that also. Okay, Ms. Georgina, do you have anything to say regarding what Nana also just said?
No, I think he basically summarized everything, because when it comes to studying over here, like the way in Ghana, you wait till last minute to cramp everything into your head, and you still pass. When you come here to it's similar, you can do that. It's just that here the practical aspect is what they want more than the theory. So if you are not able to get the practical side, you might not do as well as maybe in Ghana you would have. So once you're able to perfect that side as well and learn from your colleagues and understand certain things, you are good to go. You wouldn't struggle. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'll add.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sure. So now I ask you the question I wanted to ask you, right? Now we know that your experience spans from being an NSP at a Ghanaian financial institution, and now you are also immersing yourself in the UK financial education. What are some of the key differences that you have noticed between financial education and practice in these two different environments, and how can students also prepare for this transition? I don't know if you get the question.
Okay. So I would say that in Ghana, the way the financial system is like with the companies and the access students have to certain information, it's quite different from here. So here, what I've noticed is that most of the companies, they try to poach students or try to get students involved like from the beginning, as in when you enter, let's say, SHS over here, that's when they start. So they have these events at their companies where they invite students to come and interact with their employees and get to understand the workings of their businesses. So from SHS to university, level 100, level 200, level 300, there are different events, like core events, that you are exposed to. But in Ghana, it's not like that. If you want to understand certain things about a financial company, it can get a bit tough unless maybe you know someone there. You can't just go there, or you can't just send, let's say, an email. Even with internships, when you do internships with the company, there are certain things that you are not privy to. But then here, even as an intern, you would feel like you are an employee because they immerse you in the work they do. They expose you to a whole lot with the intention that at the end, when you finish, when you finally graduate, you would accept an offer from them. So that's one key difference that I have noticed. In Ghana, it's not so much. No, 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 it's not like that at all. But yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. We are grateful for that also. Telling us the difference between these two different countries, their financial education and all. So I move on to Mr. Thomas. Hello, Mr. Thomas.
Hi, Nicholas.
It's great to have you back here.
And thank you, and sorry for the delay. I just returned from church
Sure.
and said, let me take a nap, and that was all. Sorry for.
Thank you very much for joining also. And just today we are talking about the final step, right? Things you should consider before you hit submit and live abroad. And it has been an interesting conversation with Ms. Georgina and Nana over here. So I want to also ask you your view, right? You are into sciences, right? And you are also active in science communications and mentorship. So I want to know, right? How has sharing your research through platforms like ResearchGate affected your professional development? And what digital present would you recommend students build before doing their graduate studies?
I think to me, sharing my research on LinkedIn helped. I think yesterday we went for a science fair where we were judging middle school students. And then we had a very good conversation on LinkedIn. And one of the results from that conversation is that people will really consider your LinkedIn as compared to your CV, because they'll have an idea that the CV, you put it together, and it is a social media era. So people will go out to look for information that you may not provide. And so I think that getting your LinkedIn, getting all the relevant information updated there. Some people can even update their CV, their what's the name of this, and their certificates on LinkedIn, and make sure that you just don't dump anything there, but professionally develop your LinkedIn, and possibly maybe ResearchGate, or I use Google Scholar. So you can, if you have some research articles, if you have some citations, you can also put there, because people will go ahead and look at those. And I chanced on an article today that was saying that for you to apply for a US visa, you need to provide all your social media, what's the name of this, channels. And yeah, it's good. Just develop it professionally and make sure you don't put in content there that may have some negative implication on your application, on your life abroad. So I would think that when you are channeling any information to any other social media, probably intentionally do it and know that there is a reason and there's a target. And you know that a lot of people are actually following you. Yet another story, I used to put a lot of Christian messages on my Facebook account and other stuff. So one day we were having a group presentation, and then there was a sound that came out from the screen, and my supervisor unconsciously says that, oh, this is God talking. It's like the God you preach on the Facebook, unconsciously. So like it sounded in my mind. That was where I begin thinking that I should be careful with what I post. At first, I used to just dump anything, just go and then communicate everything there. So people really, they're interested in your profile, they're interested in what you post there. And so if people are interested, why can't I also use that one as a marketing platform? If I'm looking for anything, like, yes, I'll do that. Yeah. I guess I've been able to make some contribution to the question. If not,
exactly.
Yeah.
You've done that. You've done that. Thank you very much. Thank you. So a little bit follow up on that, though quite different, right? So as I said, we've been talking about the culture outside and way of living and how to balance your life with academics, job hunting, and all, right? And we know that in the sciences, I mean, if you go to the graduate school, most of the times you are at the lab, right? So could you also share a specific example of how cultural differences manifested in a lab setting or a research approaches, right? Across the different countries where you've studied and how you adapted to these differences. Maybe there were a certain practice that the university in Rochester was doing that maybe when you went to Northeastern is quite different, or maybe from UDS to Nigeria, maybe any difference that you've noticed that for our science audience that you would like to advise to them for them to be cautious about it or take into consideration before going to graduate school?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. And I think I overheard Nana, I'm not really sure, talking
Yeah,
about just not cramping, trying to understand and then try to engage in a communication with what, in Ghana, a first class person is a person who is able to memorize all the material and then being able to reproduce everything in that material in the exam hall. It is not done that way here. Here it's like people, they are looking out for your understanding, like how are you able to communicate what you said you've learned. And so they don't want you and poor. And I will advise every grad student that when you are coming, that the chew and poor mentality, just get it off. And also one thing I realized that we are very much smart in terms of reading books and in terms of maybe in terms of science, but one thing we are lacking is the confidence and the ability to communicate what we know. And across all from University of Rochester and here, that is one thing. Most of the African students, if you give them an exams, if you give them science, engineer, whatever, they'll score it, they'll score the A for you. But in terms of research and science communication, it's kind of very lacking. Because it looked like the training back home also in a way influences things. But the advice that try to be confident in whatever if you don't even know and you are confident, people takes that as something good. So try to be confident with what you are presenting, and also try to read broadly, get information, and whatever you are speaking, try to understand what you are presenting. I think these are things I can suggest.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for highlighting this for us. So I think it's 10:01 p.m. GMT. So I would ask each of our very last set of questions. Then we call later day for the panel discussion. I think we call it, should I say, well, that will officially be the end of our boot bootcamp, 8-week bootcamp actually. And I'm really loving this evening with the practicality of the answers from our panelists and everything. So Nana, please, I want to ask you one last question, right? I have a set of questions over here, but then I think I would like to ask this one, right? We know that for students, networking is very important, right? But for students interested in regulatory and compliance field, right? What networking strategies would you recommend during the application process and their early graduate school days, right? That maybe something that really helped you during that time to build your professional identity. I know earlier you shared about CV and all. Could you finalize it and touch it up for us as we wrap up the session?
Well, yes, that's an excellent question. If you've noticed, I always start from within. So my classmates, right, my course mates, most of them, if not 99.9% of them, are lawyers in similar fields. So I engage them and ask how they go about, or how they came about selecting the course, the kind of things they've studied, the kind of certificates they have, and what it is like in their country. So those from Nigeria or Kenya or Switzerland or Japan or whatever, you ask them and they give you an idea of how their system works, right? And then you try and compare with UK, because that's where we currently are, and you figure out, okay, so how do I immerse myself in a regulatory environment in the UK? Remember, you're studying for a master's degree, not a professional certificate course. So, in addition to that, once you identify that the UK, they have various courses, that certificate courses that you can actually take. If you have the money, I mean, it doesn't really cost that much. You can study and then get those relevant certificates. In other jurisdictions, just having a master's in a particular field are sufficient, right? So once you engage your course mates who are who are I mean, I wouldn't say they are in competition with you, but they are also trying to make the world a better place. And you try and take some of the positives from their background, how they achieved their various certificates, if they have, and how you can also go about yours. It's one of the easiest ways to network. Now, one other major thing you can actually do is to also talk to your lecturers, right? Most of them are in academia and at the same time in industry. So if you are the shy type, I mean, you can just get back to your room and send them an email that you want to engage them on this particular topic regarding regulatory framework in this jurisdiction or that jurisdiction, or this is the career plan you have. How can they assist you? Trust me, 90% or almost all the lecturers here are very welcoming. They'll break it down. They'll break it down for you, and they'll give you a lot of perspectives or insights because they're already there, and they'll help you. So never hesitate to engage your lecturer. All right. And then finally, always speak to the career and employability department or service in your respective school. They have lots of information. They can direct you to career fairs or activities or relevant courses that will help you shape your career. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, grateful for that submission, Nana. And then I take the last question from Mr. Thomas. Then we call it a day for. Then we open the floor for Q&A from our audience. Okay, so Mr. Thomas, I want to know, right, for students. So the last set of questions are generally advised to students who are interested in the fields of should I say our panelists, right? Just like I asked I asked Nana just some minutes ago. So, Mrs. Thomas, I want to know, for students who are also interested in interdisciplinary scientific research like yours, right? What are some practical advice that you would give to them with regards to balancing their coursework with research demands in graduate school, especially in their first year when they are now settling in and now combining a lot of things and like a new city, a new program, a new school, and everything? What practical advice would you like to give to such students also?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Yeah, in terms of if you whether you want to do PhD, if let me speak specifically on PhD. your supervisor is very critical, both in your journey and after that. It's like, let me use this word, it's like a wife or like a husband. So, so I would think that you pay much attention on the person you pick as your advisor. If your journey is going to be successful, or if you're going to get it easy in your PhD journey or in terms of STEM or research, then all that will depend on your advisor. And as a PhD or as a researcher, I would think that your focus should be on your research, because after that, no one is going to ask you what grade you have in, let's say, physical chemistry or thermodynamics. People are going to look at what is your research at, what have you contributed to science. You need to also pass the courses very well, but the focus should be on your research and then possibly your advisor. So yeah, I think these are very clear. And also about grad studies too, it's not about the area. Like for example, I had physics at UDS and I'm now in chemical engineering. So weird, right? People will think that's so weird. Yeah, but it's not really. It's because of the research I do. Okay, my professor was trained as a bioengineer, and then she found herself in a chemical engineering. So grad school PhD is more or less like the research, not the program. And after school, depending on what you want, people will not focus on, I'm a chemical engineer, I'm a physicist. No, they'll focus on your research. So if you want, or if you're planning of applying for school, don't be specific on your program, be specific on your research. So if you see that maybe you are a mechanical engineer and you see in a physics department, they are doing research that you like, just email a professor and just express an interest in that area. And you can have a PhD in physics. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you are a chemical engineer, you have to proceed as a chemical, even though if your interest doesn't lie in the research, you have to force yourself to be there. Grad school is kind of a little bit different from that. And the employment too. If you want to go to research or possibly even a professor, the research is critical. So look at that. Look at your interest, your research interest, your advisor, and try to get all your course work right. I think when you do all these things, you not care about the course or the field you are, like you just care about your research. And also knowing specifically the supervisor you are going into. I mean, when you are fund supervisor, especially in the US, you have the opportunity to date all the supervisors and to choose the one you want to work with. So make sure the dating process, you do a good job, ask a lot of questions. And another experience I had with we're sharing experience yesterday was that a supervisor being nice to a student, and one student doesn't mean that the supervisor will be nice to you. If they have a good relation, okay, I know a Ghanaian lady, Gloria, Santia Gloria. She has a very nice experience with her advisor, and she graduated within 4 years. Another person came, and the person was bitterly complaining about the advisor. That means that it's not really that if he's nice to, or like he has a good rapport with other students, means that he's going to have a good rapport with you. So those are things that you have to look out for. And especially if it is US, after school, you need recommendation from her. And possibly if you're looking for green card, you need her to write a strong recommendation for you. And people will first of all look at your advisor recommendation before any other thing. With all your stories, they will look at what is he saying about you before that. Yeah. And Nicholas, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was speaking. I don't know, something's wrong with my microphone this evening.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you so much. Okay, thank you so much for sharing your wealth of experience with us, and we are very much grateful. I mean, the journey we started about eight weeks ago, exactly 8 weeks ago, and you've been phenomenal. And I mean, the responses today and practicality of the answers and the response are just so amazing. We want to say God bless you for your time and also joining us this evening over here. So at this juncture, because of time, we open up for Q&A from our audience. Please, if you have any question, kindly let us know, okay? So that you can ask the panelists anything that is worrying you, bothering your mind about the whole grad school process. They will be willing to share their experience with you. Okay, so please, you can just raise up your virtual hand or just unmute and talk. All right, I think nobody is having any question. Okay, so Elvis, please, if you have any other announcement or anything that you would like to say at this moment, kindly unmute and speak also.
All right, thank you very much, Nicholas.
All right, Elvis, hold on. Evans wants to ask a question.
Yeah, please. Thank you very much for this interactive session. I really enjoyed every part of it, especially fake it till you make it. Yeah, so I want to ask. I think I typed my question in the chat box. So I don't know if it appears or something, but I've heard that most students are also into sports betting out there. Is that advisable? What are their take on it? Yeah,
okay, is it directed? Okay, is it directed to Nana? I don't know if.
No, anyone.
Any of
I
them.
think
Okay, sure.
Nana can do because he's a male, and then the boys are doing a lot with that in here. So.
All right, sure. Nana, please. It seems Nana is no more on the call. Maybe it's network or anything. So Mr. Thomas, if you could also say maybe something about that. So we were discussing about how to financially like find your footing financially in an outside world, right? Like a new country, right? And he is asking that most male students are also into sport betting, right? Is that advisable as a student? Maybe a little bit to get your financial life going, right? So is it advisable that you go into it as maybe a side hustle, quote unquote? So what is your take on such an issue?
Before the application, if you are a PhD, and even one of the things they'll look out for when they are granting the visa is, are you able to finance yourself for the program? So that's one of the critical points. So if you are coming for masters, some people have graduate research assistant, some has teaching assistantship, and so those are responsibilities that will cover your time. And if you don't have any of them, then you need to prove, you need to have a document to prove that financially you can take care of yourself when you are in the US. And I would always advise that keep it when you are in a foreign, you don't know who is watching you. So yeah, even though betting, there is no problem with that. I would not advise, personally, I will not advise that you go into it. But it's optional. People, maybe you may find people doing it and is helping them. But I would not advise. I'll just advise that whatever finances you like, whatever medium that you provide to finance your education, go ahead with that. And if you find that, oh, there are other opportunities, then maybe after school we have something like co-op that you can go and then work. Or there are a lot of process, legal way that you can use to pass through the system to get things work. People also do Uber when they come. Uber is something like it's not an unemployment, so most international students do, but it's not advisable normally, and that's why the visa officers. I think I attended another visa interview last year when I came back to Ghana, and it was organized by the U.S. Embassy, and one of the things they highlighted was having sufficient money to fund yourself at US here. So they don't expect that students should come and then do Uber, even though it's allowed. So if if they see that what you are presenting is not a legit way to be able to sustain yourself in the US, some people may not get visa through that. So they expect that you have enough funding if you are coming for school, enough funding to be able to cover your tuition, your accommodation, and your living expenses here. That's a major thing they will look at. So if you provide all these documents and then you come and they will not expect you to do better if you provide all these documents to them. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that response. And I believe Evans has been answered. Then Nana couldn't, he's still here, but then his network is not really permitting him. All right. So please, any other question? Then we wrap it up. It's 10:18. All right, Elvis.
Yeah, Nicholas.
All right. So any other announcement, final words, anything?
All right. So on behalf of the team, the organizing team, and the whole renewal as a whole, ITI-CCR UG local, I'd like to express our sincerest gratitude to all of you for making time journeying with us during all these 8 weeks of the session. We are very grateful. We ask that in subsequent weeks, we will be sharing the past recordings. We are going to be working on some YouTube shorts and be posting some content on our TikTok channels, aiming to get more people to watch us. Please and please again, do well to share. And the group is going to be active. Although we are not going to be having sessions, we'll be sharing graduate school application tips and some scholarships some schools have posted there. And if you need any help, we can reach out to any of you and then connect you to these opportunities. So once again, we'd like to thank you all. And then please do well to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think all the social media channels are there. And you would always stay in touch. Thank you once more again.
All right, Elvis, thank you very much for that. And I also want to say a very big thank you to all our panelists, all our audience, and everybody who made effort to join us along the way. We are very much grateful. I mean, I've personally learned a lot, and anytime I'm asking a question, I have my notes here that I just into it, highlight and everything. So, and I'm sure most of you also did the same. So, as Elvis said, we are going to be doing a whole lot of promotions, right? Even looking forward to converting these audios into a kind of podcast that you can listen to at your comfort time. Maybe you are not applying this year, but have prospects of applying. It's not too late. You can always visit the YouTube channel to get any session that you missed. Okay, my name is Jima Nicholas, and it has been an amazing 8 week, always moderating with you and to the entire team. We are very much grateful for putting this up together. So I'll call on Elvis to give the final closing prayer, then we wrap it up. Okay, after that, we take our group photo just like we recently introduced. So please stay tuned. So Elvis, could you pray with us?
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for the gift of our lives. We thank you for bringing us to the end of this 8-week bootcamp. This bootcamp in which we learned about how to apply for schools abroad. We learned all the tips and all the tricks. We ask that prospective applicants and people looking to apply to schools abroad, you grant us success in our application, that we'll be able to apply all these things, all these tips our speakers have shared with us. And we also pray for our speakers of all the sessions in a special way, that the Lord will continue to fill them, replenish them, and restore them, and bless all their endeavors, all their businesses, and all their ventures they are into, that they continue to be a blessing upon our lives and those of other generations. This and many other things we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Amen, Elvis. Thank you. So please kindly turn on your camera. Okay. We just want a last group photo before we finally depart. Okay. So kindly turn on your camera, then we take a group photo, then we depart faithfully. Please don't leave the call. I was kindly change the mode of the this thing to grade mode so that we can get everybody. Okay, because what you are sharing is what's showing. All right. Are you able to see it? So stop sharing and let's see. Okay. All right. So I think I did it. Selassie, Gibura.
Please don't forget to tell them to post on LinkedIn too.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's very, very important. Please kindly do us the honors by sharing your updates and anything you learned from the session on LinkedIn. Audrey, please kindly turn on your camera. This is the last day, more or less like a graduation. Okay, so please, I want you to do us the honors by turning on your camera. Okay. All right. So I'm taking a couple of shots, then we continue. So take the last one. All right. All right, thank you very, very much. I think this is where we draw the line and we bring everything into a fruitful ending. Once again, my name is Jima Nicholas. Just Career Advocate. You can always text me on LinkedIn or on the WhatsApp platform. Bye, everyone. It was a great pleasure having all of you over here for the past 8 weeks. I want to say God bless you and thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye. Bye.